should be topic number 7 is the importance of HBCUs. This one is for Brother Bakari. So I figured let me bring this one out now since this is the last topic tonight, and I have Bakari here with us still up, still awake. So let's check out the video, and then we'll discuss it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
This is the story of Morris Brown College. Some outstanding black folks founded Morris Brown back in 1881. The first and only HBCU founded, owned, and operated by black people in all of Georgia. This is where Pulitzer Prize winners hit the books, where jazz legends developed their sound, where civil rights leaders spearheaded change. These are the halls where some of the greatest minds in business, science, and the arts marched. But every great story has conflict. And I ain't finna lie, this school went through it. But see, the thing is, every great story has a hero too. This is one of them. And this is another. In her, in him, in them, in you. Together, we're bringing back Morris Brown College, bringing back financial aid, bringing back a history of black excellence. Morris Brown College, a new beginning in black academia.
Morris Brown College, all the way back, hard reset, has worked, continues to work. They lost their accreditation many years ago, but the institution was resurrected through the leadership of many, including the current president, who led the institution back to reaccreditation, Dr. Kevin James. I am proud to serve as a professor under his leadership. Mr. President, good day. Welcome to Indisputable.
Thank you, sir, for having me. Good afternoon.
It's always good to see you, man. A lot of people may not know the story of Morris Brown College outside of the context of Atlanta and maybe the states that surround. Yes. But Morris Brown has a significant connection not only to black academia, but black excellence and black progression, civil rights movement, et cetera. Can you give us some of that historical connection to this institution?
Sure. Well, first of all, again, thank you for having me on today. Morris Brown is a historic institution founded in 1881. Our institution is very unique because we're the first and the only HBCU in the state of Georgia that was actually founded, funded, owned, and operated by black people for black people. So many individuals have come through this institution to earn an education and to go out into the communities and to lead. One of those individuals, Hosea Williams, who stood on the front lines with Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. You know, we just celebrated this weekend, Selma, Alabama. The president of the United States was in Selma. And so we were there. Morris Brown was there on the front lines. And so many individuals have come through these halls and been educated and now are doing great things in the community. We just made history as the first HBCU to rebound after a 20-year hiatus. And we're so excited to be back, and we're moving the institution forward.
We're going to get into some of the nuances of how that happened. Senator John Ossoff, who happens to be a dear friend of mine, dear friend of yours, he's been on my show multiple times. Talk to us about how Senator John Ossoff was instrumental in being a partner, an ally to do this. And I remember when he was campaigning to be a senator, he literally came on my radio show, Mr. President, and said, I'm going to make sure one of my top priorities is ensuring the reaccreditation of Morris Brown College. And him, you all delivered. Talk to us about that relationship.
Absolutely. So I heard him on your show. Hey, we want to help Morris Brown College. And so I reached out to him and reached out to his team and said, I heard that you mentioned Morris Brown. We would love to partner with you. And so he made a lot of promises to me that he would help to get funding for an institution. And he is one of the politicians that actually kept his promise. And so he just helped us to deliver on a $2.9 million grant to Morris Brown College. $500,000 of that funding will go towards our historical building, Fountain Hall, and then $2.4 million will go towards our teaching and learning and to push forward our academic mission here at Morris Brown College. So, you know, he has been very instrumental, along with Senator Warnock, in helping to keep promises made during their campaign, and they've delivered on a lot of funding for HBCUs in the state.
Yeah, let's talk about the interesting dynamic of affordability.
Yes.
You know that I am a preacher of affordable education. Students at Morris Brown are very excited. Literally, I start back teaching next week for the cohort, and I'm already getting emails from students. So there's an excitement in the educational dynamic. But Morris Brown College is also one of the most affordable private colleges in all of America.
Yes.
And let's talk about why it was important to keep the institution affordable, and how affordable is it? Can somebody literally go to school, get some level of financial aid, and have a college degree fully accredited, debt-free?
Yes. So the major component of our resurrection was earning our federal financial aid status back. Getting access to Pell Grants and scholarships and loans was instrumental to resurrect this institution. Morris Brown College is now proud to boast that we're the most affordable HBCU in the city of Atlanta. You know, when you look at some of our counterparts, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, Morris Brown College is $4,250 a semester tuition. So you're looking at about $8,500 a year. And those students who come from Pell eligible backgrounds, you know, now can get up to about $6,800 a year in funding that does not have to be repaid. So our goal here at Morris Brown was that we were able to provide an affordable education. And the goal here is that you graduate with little to no debt.
Let's talk about the quality of professors. As I said, I'm a proud member under your leadership as a professor at Morris Brown College. But you have been very dogmatic about making sure that your professors are not only academically qualified, but they have shown mastery in practice, that they are able to demonstrate as well as educate. Tell us about the duality and why that's important.
It is so important to have the absolute best faculty. The faculty are the lifeblood of any institution. And so as we were going through this hard reset and resurrecting, you know, we hired a brand new team. We have a new provost. We have a new assistant provost. We have 4 new department chairs, all leading the way with our academics. And now we've completely hired and brought in new academic leadership. Not only do these individuals have PhDs and master's degrees, but they also have that hands-on applicable experience working in the fields that they teach. That is extremely important so our students can get that hands-on learning, not just theory, but also the practical application as well. And so we are scaling our academic programs, and we have the absolute best faculty out here. I put my faculty up against anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud to have you on board as a faculty member as well.
Oh man, listen, it's one of the biggest joys of my entire life, educating and being under your leadership, dear brother. You have been not only a breath of fresh air. After, you know, we talk about the technical stuff, but Doc, this was a difficult thing to do.
Yes.
And I want to get into that in just a moment. When you came to the city of Atlanta, you took the job being president of Morris Brown College.
Yes.
At that time, it was not accredited. Still, Morris Brown College has always had a special place in the hearts and minds of those in the state of Georgia and beyond because of the legacy and tradition. Still, every year, a gala, still every year, multiple events, still every year. The campus was technically open, even though it was unaccredited and only a handful of students were going there. You get hired, I bring you on my radio show, and you talk about something called the hard reset. And you're gonna lead this institution back to accreditation. And I remember saying, man, if anyone could do it, this guy has the charisma to get it done. But it wasn't easy. Tell us about some of the pitfalls and barriers you had to overcome to make this happen.
Yes, it was a huge boulder to carry. You know, I came into this institution and we had filed a $35 million bankruptcy. We literally in 2002, 2003 went from 3,000 students to 50 students overnight. 20 years or so not being accredited, the loss of brand, the loss of students, the loss of funders. You know, it's only 3 reasons the institution survived: God, the AME Church, and the alumni. And so we kept moving on. We would not allow the institution to close. And I just want to thank all of the faculty, staff, alumni, and shareholders who never gave up on this institution. But it was a heavy lift. We were able to do it. We became the first HBCU to earn our accreditation back. We have our federal financial aid now reinstated. We now are serving the military, veterans benefits. And we are right now at this very moment in the final stages of earning access to international students, F1 visas. So we're going to Africa, we're going to the Bahamas and beyond. And so it was a heavy lift, you know, getting through the whole premise, number one, of just getting people to believe that this was even possible. I say it all the time, this will be in my book, you know, just getting people to believe that we were going to do this after 17, 18, 19, almost 20 years. And so again, once you get that train moving, get a little bit of momentum, we were able to get it done. And I'm gonna tell you, history will say that we were able to save Morris Brown College using social media.
Yeah.
Social media is what we utilize to get people to believe in what we were doing here. And so I just, again, thank you to all the faculty, staff. It's not just me. I have a phenomenal team, phenomenal alums, the AME Church, everybody who never gave up on the school.
That's right. For those who...
All right, I'm going to stop that there. I think we get the idea, unless there was something else of importance towards the end, Juana?
No. This was for Brother Bakari. I didn't want him to knock this out of the park because this is his thing.
No. But the question I'm asking is there anything big of note?
No. It's just marketing. Just marketing.
All right, cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna let Bakari really speak on this, and then if anyone has any last comments, we'll end this at 2 a.m. So that's 20 minutes from now. So Bakari, you take it away. And if anyone wants to add any quick words at the end, you'll have your minute to do so. Go ahead.
No, they don't want to add nothing about this, man. Black folks don't like HBCU. They don't like nothing but black folks is in charge. All you gotta do is every time you mention something black, you gonna see where they have a lot of reasons to say something negative. They ain't gonna say nothing about nobody else. Black folks don't like HBCU. Somebody, Norma X, say, so who is funding it now? The same people that funding every damn college here. The same damn people. That's why they underfunded. It's a microcosm of the black community. But we have to look for reasons. The man said they accepted military benefits. Norma X laughed at himself, which means when they accepted military benefits, now you can use your GI Bill. You can use your GI Bill to go to college there. That's what that means. They're accepting you if you was in the military and you choose to go there. So now they're using your GI Bill because I don't want you to just laugh when you don't understand what you're talking about. But for me, HBCUs is great. It's what black folks should be. But hey, HBCU gonna be the problem. But only 90%, only 10% of all college age students, black students, go to HBCUs. But HBCUs put out more black doctors, more black lawyers, and more black educators than any other. Yeah, harsh reality. You're right. So now, because they just got their accreditation back, that's why they saying you can get it. That's why they was letting you know that now they can, because they just got their accreditation back. They had lost their accreditation. They wouldn't accredit. They just got it back. But HBC, and according to, well, I just say it because I'm tired of pulling this stuff up. They can look it up for themselves if they want. But black people that graduate from HBCUs tend to make more money than black people that graduate from PWIs. Lero say to serve a European economy. I don't know where Lero live. I don't know where she's from. So she might be in Africa somewhere where they ain't working in a European economy. I don't know. I have no idea. But everybody over here that's working, if you're doing something, you're working in the European economy. Now, Koku, y'all have heard them talk about the HBCUs. They'll see why don't people from Ukraine getting to go to Howard? It don't make a difference how much you explain it, right? Black people gonna say, because it's something they haven't studied, but since they black, something they haven't been a part of, they feel they can. I know, Lero, but you're the one who's cracking jokes about is all to serve a European economy. But anyway, but when it comes to HBs, well, look, the Morgan State they're doing this. But let's look and see how many people gonna find this video and play with. Listen to what immigrant students did he say he was reaching out to? Bawana? Didn't he say
Africa,
the Caribbean,
the Bahamas,
in the Caribbean?
They sell heavy. Yeah, they market that school heavy in the Caribbean as well. But Bakari, mine, I want you. This particular prompt, I was giving you an alley-oop. Don't mind the noise in the marketplace. There's 200 other people who are gonna watch the program. I want you to sell HBCUs to them as well. Don't mind the noise.
But you know, when you're selling HBCUs, the problem is you're trying to sell it to black people. Black people don't want to deal with black people being in charge. Because black people, I'm going to say it again, it's white arrogance that's oozed out of black people pores and white ego that ooze from black people. They've been around white people so much, they act like them. So if it's a black person doing something, we don't have to be involved. We don't have to know nothing about the school. We ain't got to know nothing about what go on at the school. All we got to do know is a HBCU, black people in charge, something wrong with it. But they ain't gonna ever say nothing about them schools where 90% of black children go to. 90% of black children go to PWIs. And when you say who they get their funding from, the University of Alabama make $50 million a year just from football. Look on a football field and tell me what their majority of their players are. So we're okay with white people getting extremely rich, continuously, still getting extremely rich off black people. But if black people say something and black people want some of that talent, black people are the first ones that have problems with it. When y'all listen to social media, y'all hear, who do y'all hear talking about? Well, you know, because I'm involved in this a little bit more heavy than everyone else, probably in this chat. So most black people that talk about HBCUs sound just like white people, because that's what black people in this country have become. White people, the white arrogance. Lero, did you go to an HBCU? No, because I want to, because when they say these things, I just want to know. Lero, did you go to an HBCU? And if she ever answer that question, it's going to be no. So then did you ever go deal with people at age? Have you ever been on an HBCU campus?
Well, you know, my cousin went to a HBCU. She went to FAMU.
Let me say this right quick. Ain't nobody mad about a failing football. Lero, you need to understand. You need to understand. White folks getting extremely rich off black people playing football for them. Why do people don't? Why is it a problem that black folks should get some of that talent? And tell me which HBCUs don't have STEM. So, well, you know, you're right. You're right. So they ain't got the black presidents. They ain't got none of that then. So in this country, black folks should just shut the hell up because we don't run shit. In all honesty, our reality market, we don't run shit. And of course, it's instituted. It's a microcosm of the black community. But black people don't, because see, black people, you see black people head, you see black people on the board, see a black president, black vice president, you see the black faculty. So it's automatically, it's gonna be a problem to black people. It's always a problem to black people because of who you see atop. Go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, no. Well, I got a couple family members. My son's mother went to FAMU. My cousin, she went to FAMU as well. My sister went to I went to St. Leo, which is a private Catholic college, and my sister, she went to Florida State. So I mean, you know, I've had family who went to HBCUs. Some of them who didn't go to HBCUs, and you know, they've all been variously successful. I think that when we critique HBCUs, I didn't go to one, but I think that many times we look at the history of HBCUs. Many times they were started by white philanthropists in the 1800s at the end of slavery, and it wanted to make black people, to kind of educate black people to fit into the status quo and into the existing American society. Historically speaking, many HBCUs, although they do educate many doctors, they haven't been revolutionary. Most doctors, they haven't been revolutionary. You know, I think it was Samuel L. Jackson. He had to fight to get a black studies course at a HBCU, which you would think, right? That just automatically come with it. So I don't think the critique of HBCUs isn't so much because it's just black people running them, but it's the type of black people that they're bringing out of the school. Are these
Carl,
black people willing to challenge?
Let me ask you a question. So why white folks don't get the same critique? If black folk, if 90% of black students going to white universities, you can't tell me that the HBCUs where only 10% of black people is going is sending out more coons or whatever than the white universities. Why don't they get the same critique?
Well, because we expect that from them. I think it was Carter G. Woodson.
Why do y'all run to go to their schools then? You expect that. So watch this. Listen to your thinking, Carl. You expect for white people to put you in a position to make you act like them, but it's still good if we go be there.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good at all. But like, what Carter G. Woodson said that Harvard has ruined more Negroes than bad whiskey. He said that back in the 1930s. So Carter G. Woodson.
Oh, talking about the Ivy League schools, right?
Yeah. He said Harvard has ruined more Negroes than bad whiskey. You know, so this is true. I know somebody who went to Harvard, and he's ruined. You know, so they got him good. So, but I think that there's a critique for I'm not coming down on black HBCUs because
y'all critique.
I'm not coming back. I'm not coming with disrespect for the HBCUs. I'm not. I know people who graduated from and they're doing good things.
But your critique is way too harsh.
I don't think I'm being harsh. I don't think I'm being harsh.
I'm going to tell you why it's harsh. Y'all mad? Well, white people start. Show me some black people coming out of slavery that had enough money to start schooling with their own funding. I'll wait, Carl. I'm going to wait. And if I don't continue to talk, I'll just be waiting forever. Because you know they didn't have money coming out of slavery to fund their own school. So why is that a critique? See, now you know what you're doing. Now we're blaming our people for being.
I'm not blaming. Yes, I'm not blaming anyone. I don't have a problem. I like the HBC. Like I said, I know people who went to it, but I think when people critique them, they're just saying that these schools, they're not producing black people who are willing to challenge the status quo.
So the black people that you have met, or the black people that may have been on TV or in a certain position, haven't challenged the status quo, right?
For the most part, no.
That's good. So now, how many people is that? Because see, I know people that went to HBCUs. I know people that challenge the status quo. But if I go down that line and start telling you who they are, you would know them, would you?
Maybe I would. I don't know.
Okay, do you know who Jake Ayers is?
Not particularly, no.
See, you don't know who it is. See what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about. But some people who was willing to turn down 6 figures in the 60s and 70s because white folks trying to move them out the way so I can stay and fight for black folk. But see, the problem is, so what you didn't do was answer the question. But I wasn't even talking particularly to you. I'm talking about the critiques that black people have. That's not a real critique that white people started us. White philanthropists started a school because they didn't want black folks to go to school with them. So therefore, niggas is what they call, don't have money to start a school. So let's start it for them so they can have their own school. So explain to me how that's a problem for HBCU. See, because when we do that, you're blaming black people for being beaten during slavery. First, you're blaming black people for being enslaved. Well, white people started them after slavery. That's, see, because the white people started it. Well, who funded them right now? The same government that fund everything. But they underfund the HBCUs just like they underfunded the black community. The same thing. It's a microcosm of the black community. That's why it's so easy to get a black person in the black community. If I can give them this much money, they will sell out. Then we'll call him a sellout, right? Am I lying? Oh, okay. See, now we don't want to speak the truth then, so I'm gonna just talk.
No, keep going.
I want to answer truthful questions. So then you can give this black person that live in this community a certain amount of money. He'll bounce and he'll coon. Why? Because he or she ain't never had nothing. They broke. We've been underfunded. We've been oppressed, suppressed, depressed. Now this is my chance. And if all I got to do is to say something negative about black folk or get on TV or just do what white people want me to do, I'm going to get this money. So then the HBCU is in the same situation. It's okay to critique them on their bullshit, but it's not okay to make up bullshit to critique them on. And I hope you understood what I was saying. And I hope people hear it's okay to critique them when they come with bullshit. I'm one of the first ones that will do it. But I do know some of the stuff people complain about that they're not involved and they haven't studied and they don't know why they did it. When people was complaining, look, Morgan State finna let immigrants in, they giving them. Go look and see how much money Morgan State gonna be getting. They have to, they accept things so they can get some of the funding. Like when a case was won in Mississippi, Alcorn State, Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State, they had to let a certain amount of white people in. White people from this country reached out and got Russians and gave them scholarships to go to HBCUs. But if they didn't let the school get to like 5%, they wouldn't have got the funding. So they put you in a position, and all these people that will complain about that, if this country ever pass out reparations and say, this is what you got to do to get your reparations, guess what they're going to do? They're going to accept that stipulation so they can get their money. That's what they're going to do.
Let's hear from, very brief, anyone who wants to add any final thoughts here before we close out the show. All right.
I'll say this. I have something to say.
I'll say this. I don't want to be brief. I don't want to be long. But like what Brother Bakari is talking about is like kind of like the realism. You know, like what's the real situation for black folk? And when we talk about who's financing this, just like when we go back to the Chinese conversation of who can build these roads, who can so on and so forth, it really comes back to capital, you know? And this is why I gotta tell black folk, get your money, you know, get your capital, because if you don't have it, you're going to be asking other people to finance things that essential things for you.
Hey, check, let me say this right quick before you finish. It's not the HBCU job to churn out a revolutionary. Stop sending your children places mentally unarmed. It's not their job to make your child a revolutionary. What you gonna do at home? That's not their job.
I agree with that. Let's have from
Buana. Wait a minute. But did the white schools, since 90% of black children go to white schools, I guess the white schools making them revolutionary. And that's what I'm talking about, Carl. And y'all can make all the excuses you want. Y'all never say nothing about white folks. Never. Y'all only got heat for black folks. Oh, that's it. That's it.
I would say this. If the black American population does not want to support HBCUs and they want to go to PWIs, what is going to happen is that these black universities are going to the Caribbean towards people who may have a modicum of income money or whatever. And black folks from the Caribbean will go to these schools and benefit from the education that they will receive there. And some of them will stay in the United States of America and improve their lot. And some of them will come back home to the Caribbean countries. My sister went to HBCU. She went to Lincoln. So did my brother. My sister came back home, became a medical doctor. Now she's running the accident and emergency in the Bahamas. And my brother, he stayed in the United States and he ended up working at BMW, some kind of mechanical engineer business. So these two immigrants, Tethers, benefited from that education. So, like I say, if the people who the universities was made for doesn't want to go to these universities, and they paid out of state fees, by the way. They didn't get any funding, any grants, so we didn't take away from the economy. They added to it. But if the black folks within the United States, who these institutions was made for, does not want to use these institutions as a tool to improve their lot, then the black immigrants will do it. I tell you that. But don't be upset and mad when the immigrants use that information, you know what I mean, that they will acquire at these universities to improve their lot, whether within their societies or outside of it. That's all I'd say. I'll leave it there.
All right, Tanzan, do you want to add anything?
I would say that I don't see a problem with having an HBCU. The only thing is you do have to have a vision and a statement. It is their duty to teach, the students who go there something about their history, and not so much, revolution and all that, but to give them a different experience than they would if they had gone to, the other universities. The other thing to say that, yes, it's important that people criticize the universities because they really are the last bastion of, space for Black intellectual life. So they should be subjected to harsh criticism, but with a view to improving them and to making, improving their quality. The fact that only 15 out of 100 and something, only have STEM programs is something to be criticized. So I think that the criticism should be more in the quality of education and in the people that they produce. Because if you're known for producing subpar people, then subpar people only will be attracted to you. So I think that they should also be judged by the quality of students that they graduate, the type of education that they give, the curriculum and all that. And so people who have concerns about Black issues should look to them and say, what are you all doing? And if they're not doing the right job, then they should be criticized for it. So, yeah.
All right. I appreciate that. That's the show for tonight.
But hold up before you go, though, right? Let me say this right quick, right?
Oh, yeah. You know what, Bakar? You get the last word on that. Go ahead.
So with all the criticism and critique, I tell you, is anybody going to do anything to change it? Because watch this, right? Like I told Carl, it's okay to critique the bullshit. Koku and Oni and Bawana, they know me. They done heard me. I talk about the good and the bad of the HBCU, but don't make up bullshit to critique. You understand? And that's what we do. Well, this is what happened. Has it been compromised? To an extent. But why? Just like with the church, when people can talk about how the church was revolutionary, why the church ain't revolutionary no more? Them big churches, they was able to get what they call 501c3s. Then you can't talk about this. Then the men stopped going to the church. So the church ain't revolutionary. We can say it and talk about what something is not. But what are you going to do to change it? And a horrible critique is when you're trying to say a college is supposed to turn your child into a revolutionary. So what the hell is the parents' job? Do the parents have a job? I don't know. See, I got a job. People hear my son speak. You can hear my daughter. You understand what I'm saying? I did my job with my children. What's the parents' job? Because the college didn't make them revolutionary. They don't want to answer the question about their job. That seemed like that's what it is. The Black parents want to babysit, and let's hope the school do everything else. That's not how it goes. So my point is, all the problems that an HBCU have or that the Black church have is what the Black community have, Black people have. That's why I take up for HBCUs. That's why I'm going to take up, and they hear me, I take up for the Black church. That's why I take up for the Black community. Because what we forget is we have all been put under the same system. We have all been beaten and robbed physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally from us as a group, as a collective. So what we do is turn and fight one another and say, they're the problem. They're the problem. Those Black people right there's the problem. Those black people right there is the problem. Those black people right there is the problem. Those black people right there is the problem. But when you look, none of the black people is the problem. Some people on the outside created the problem. But we are the ones who have to fix the problem. You got some people that gonna bite into it because I'm gonna sell you out. You got some presidents that been sitting on top of some HBCUs that'll sell you out just like the preacher. But you got the same thing in it, just in the community, that will sell you out. And that's the problem. We have allowed outside influences to constantly keep us fighting and bickering with one another. So I fight for HBCUs because the black folk. I fight for the black church. And I'm going to say this. I don't even fight for all, because I got my problem with the wars at the top. I don't even fight for the mega church. I fight for small churches who I know is actually doing stuff for black people, because I don't want them to be in the same box with the mega church. I fight for black people in the community. When people say, oh, it's just black people. No, it's not all black people. It's not all black people. It's some black people. But when we put all us in the box, we'll realize all of us black people have the same problem. And that's what I want us to understand. And the only way the problem is going to get fixed is if we would stop pointing fingers to prove that they are the problem, but us starting to work together to build, to work together to fix the problems that was created. Because you can point fingers all day. That ain't going to fix it. We have to fix what other people fucked up in us. They fucked up our mind. They fucked up everything about us. But now we're going to look and think, this is supposed to be perfect? No, ain't nothing going to be perfect. And me, who I am, I'm just tired of just everything. I'm just tired of talking about black folks all the time. Everything just black folks' fault. Everything.
Okay, amen, Brother Bakari. Amen, 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 amen.
All right, that's our show tonight. I just wanted to quickly say a couple of things. Before I have you guys give me give you shout outs. Like I've been saying all the time on this show, folks who listen, don't just listen, man. Start to do some stuff. And if you want to connect with other people who might be interested in those things, join the Discord, come and connect. Let's do some stuff. I'm going to be starting to put up some slides starting this week coming from the Ham radio prep course. Go to the community tab, find the post, listen to the Brother Bakari episode where the guy was named Wig Williams, was talking about the importance of having that alternative communication. So make sure to check out that episode and follow the instructions if you want to join. Join the Discord. Again, we could have these slides that I'm going to create for that. There was something else. We were supposed to talk about a problem tonight concerning the 2A area. You guys know what I'm talking about, of defense, and talking about firearm liability and stuff like that. I joined a GC. You guys know, if I'm talking 2A, you know what GC is. I joined a GC out here in New York, and I'm working with a lawyer to figure out some of these laws and home ownership and this, that, and the other. So if you guys are interested in that, you can talk to me about that in due time. Brother Bakari, you want to shout anything out this week?
I really got no shout out. I guess I will be doing a show tomorrow, and I'm going to call it the Willie Lynch letter, the Willie Lynch chip activated.
Okay. So we look forward to that.
Yeah.
I guess Carl left. Buana, you want to shout anything out this week?
No. Shout out to everyone who contributed tonight. It's always been a spirited debate, with the brothers from the variant of views, and I appreciate all opinions. I wanted to give this in particular to Brother Bakari, this last one, because I know that this is something that it weighs heavy on his heart to discuss and let other black people, allow other black people to be aware of. So I'm glad that he was able to vent and really get out for this particular issue and this particular problem. But I appreciate all the brothers tonight for coming on and expressing their views and opinions.
Yeah, and the sisters too. Oni, you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, so all right. So tomorrow I'm gonna do my program. But I really think I should have hosted today. I would have probably had all 8 prompts, just FYI. And you know, just next time don't mess up with your cupcake. But that's all I gotta say.
Build it. Okay, thank you for that, Oni. You guys tuned into Oni in a couple of hours. For last but not least, Tanzan. By the way, shout out to Carl, Zuliism, Kibwe, Marcus Gavi is the way. They were on the panel tonight. Shout out to them. Shout out to all of you in the chat. Lero was awesome. Harsh Rally Podcast was out there doing his thing as well. Trick Happy 262, etc. All you guys were good. Shout out to Bobby Wright. Tanzan, you want to shout anything out this week?
No, just the usual Tuesdays with me. And again, Friday next week, I guess we're back with Humze. And obviously, Shoot the Breeze. So always have to shout out the program. So we'll see you next Saturday.
All right. Thank you for that. D Webb, Harsh Rally Podcast says they'll be back tomorrow. I guess he's been under the weather. So we got that to look forward to. We got Bakari tomorrow.
He's been gone like 2 months.
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, I ain't mean to cut you. I said he's been gone like 2 months.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Bakari will be on tomorrow. Oni, probably Casidra, and now we know the Harsh Rally Podcast will be on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to the matron. I didn't see the matron today, but I know the matron is always around looking over. So shout out to everyone. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I'll see you guys next week, hopefully, and probably see you during the week on all these different shows. All right, you guys be good. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine.